Welcome to the Let's Eat Grandma Career Warrior Podcast.
That's a great place to start, huh? Actually defining what that is. The simplest way to answer that question is that it's actually different for everyone. But there are sort of themes that I tend to see. And these themes are pretty universal in terms of what we as humans, what we want, right? What we want in life. Not even just in our careers, but truly in life. And so to kind of work backwards from those two themes. So the two themes that I really see, one, a career that we love brings us deep levels of fulfillment and meaning. Careers that we love, it's doing work that we know matters. It's doing work that lights us up. It's doing work that we really, really care about, right? That's the first theme. The second theme is all about freedom. It's work where we feel truly autonomous. It's work where we might value location independence. We might value time flexibility. We might value financial freedom. There's so many different ways that we all define freedom. There's so many different ways that we all value in terms of our freedom. But careers truly are pathways to so much freedom. And so building a career that you love really is building a career that gives you both, that gives you purpose, and it also gives you the ability to just be free. Totally. And it's funny, like I even think back to my first quote unquote dream job that I had. And I burned out harder than I'd ever burned out ever in a job. Like I had one of my darkest moments, right? But I had this dream job. So I would have thought I got it, right? But no, right? And so ultimately, hearing what you just said, there's so much more to building a career and life that you love than just landing the dream job or starting the business or whatever it is. It truly is this process of really continuing to refine, continuing to design, continuing to dream, and continuing to really evaluate what's working and what's not working. And the stuff that's not working, okay, well, how do I just let those things not work and decide that either, again, as you said, I'm going to outsource them, I'm going to delegate them, I'm going to find ways to make them not be so painful, or really just take them off the plate, delete them. Let's actually kind of kick this part of the conversation off of, some things that we were talking about, and a trend that I'm seeing is we have a lot of people who are in the job market right now, right? We've had 30 million people who are unemployed from COVID. I don't know, maybe that number is even higher now. And so we have a lot of people who are applying for jobs and are trying to sort of figure out this next step. We also have a lot of people who are really starting to ask themselves these deeper questions of how do I want to be spending my time, and what really matters to me, and what kind of work do I actually really want to do? And what we're finding, or what I'm finding, what I'm hearing a lot of, is a lot of people are applying to jobs and they're not hearing anything back, or they're not really moving through the pipeline, or they're getting interviews, but they're not, getting the jobs. And my response to this, so if anybody is listening, if that sort of feels like you're going through the process and not getting a lot of traction, one of the biggest blocks that I see to people landing jobs that they really want, or dream jobs, is that actually you haven't answered some really important questions about what you really want. So it really starts with clarity, right? And that first step to building a career that you love, or to landing that dream job or whatever it is really starting to ask yourself again and again and again and again, what do I want? What do I really want? Not what my parents think I want or tell me that I should want, not what society says I should want, not what my partner thinks I should want, not just what's going to make me the most money right now because I'm freaking out about money or whatever it is. It's, what do I truly, in my heart of hearts and the depths of my soul, want to be doing? How do I want to be spending my days? What types of problems do I want to be solving? What types of projects do I want to be working on? What types of people do I want to be collaborating with, right? All of these questions are going to slowly start to help you actually get clear on what you want. It's only then that you're going to start to actually see some traction in the process, right? Hell yes. But I think it's well-intended. It's a well-intended problem, right?
But it's out there. Yeah.
But of course, right? We grow up, we ask kids, what do you want to be when you grow up? We ask 5-year-olds, what do you want to be when you grow up, right? When we do this, so like, let's back up a second. When we ask 5-year-olds, what do you want to be when you grow up? What we are saying to that 5-year-old is, you will be defined by your job. Your identity is going to be your job. So from a very young age, we are conditioned to attach our worth, our identity to jobs.
Never thought about it like that. Yeah.
And over time, the way that presents itself and translates is, right, when you graduate college, when you go to college, what are you going to major in? When you graduate college, what's your first job going to be?
Funny because, like, you know, what do you want to be when you grow up? It's almost like it's that one thing that you are for life. Whereas the reality, especially in this day and age, is that people have so many different jobs and even multiple careers. It's normal. So that's a good point.
And are we really truly like, are we our jobs? Like, do we not exist outside of our job? Right? Like, of course not. Of course we exist outside of that, right? Yet, when we get laid off, when we get fired, when something happens, when we don't get approval from on a project, when we don't get promoted or whatever it is.
Right.
When we don't get that validation, or we get the opposite, we get the rejection, we take that as, there's something wrong with me. I'm broken. I'm not good enough. Right?
Right.
Which, what the hell is that, right? Like, well, how is that? Why is that true? How does that how is that a reflection of the beauty and the love of the incredible human that exists inside of you, right? Like,
yeah.
And so
I think that's why so many people get torn up when they get a non-response for a simple job application. It's
totally, because they take it
hit on their ego. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, one of the most effective tools that I've used to help me really start to dig into this for myself and for clients is really mindfulness. Mindfulness meditation, mindfulness practice, but the root of mindfulness really is putting space between yourself and your thoughts. You can sort of define that a few different ways. You can define that as your higher self and your ego, yourself and your thoughts. There's like lots of different ways to describe that. But what it really is doing is it's just creating space slowly, 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 so that you do have almost this third-party perspective looking at the thought patterns and trains that are going around in your mind, so that you can decide what to do with them. Right.
I love that. I am a big journaler. I love journaling. It's one of my, it's not a guilty pleasure. It's a cool pleasure. Okay. So I love, because there's just so much of that. I'm a big mindfulness. I meditate, all the time. And I have been able to realize so many things through that, through silence. And I even think that when I first made that shift when I first decided that I think I wanted to quit my old job to move to my new one, it was through just a long car ride of just nothing but the car ride itself. And so I had a lot of those types of moments to give me that clarity there. So thank you for bringing a real good answer to the forefront, because I think that's something that a lot of people aren't doing. And I think it's something that's going to help a lot of people.
Well, and like you're welcome. But also the truth is like, what that's really pointing to, and I love the example that you just gave, is so often we're actually also taught that everyone else has the answers to our questions, that we should go external to find answers. Like, I can't tell you, like, I used to, if I had a question about what I wanted to do with my career, I would ask a million people. I would ask all my friends, I would ask mentors, I would ask professional people, I would go in meetings with a million people. And that's not to say that I didn't learn things, but I wasn't asking myself.
Yeah.
Like, I really thought like the answer was somewhere else and I just had to go find it. And what you just sort of painted this beautiful picture of is this quiet time with yourself in a car, not talking to a single other person, just you with yourself. And that's truly where the deepest clarity comes from. And also that's where the only answers could possibly live are within ourselves.